How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lo4f, and today I'm going to go on and attempt this mission called Lonely Island. Somebody mentioned it earlier, and I've been eyeballing it for the last few days, so I fancy giving it a go. However, I wanted to find the most awkward / professional way I possibly could. I had something in mind that I wanted to try, so I went for it, and yeah, we'll see how things went. So basically, first thing I need is a Kolob, and I've got an 8-slot trailer, and I've got a Lo4f, and I've got a Steptoe with a large crane. So first things first. Stick the old horse on the trailer. I'll tell you one thing I wish they would improve. She's like, the Lo4f is currently rotating because I'm kind of jiggling the crane round. I've sort of learnt how to scoot it around a bit quicker. But yeah, when you hold down left or right on the D-pad to turn cargo or trucks or whatever, they go so painfully slow. It's insane. It took me almost a minute to rotate that 90 degrees. Yeah, I mean, the horsey's pretty goddamn easy to get on there. This thing though, a slightly different matter, and the reason I went for the Steptoe was partially because I know it's a pretty light vehicle, so I wanted to, yeah, well, I knew it'd have the best chance of getting on this trailer and not weigh it down too much. I was able to lift the nose up. That's the situation with quite a lot of the trucks. You're usually able to like lift the front up and just get it to do like a wheelie, but yeah, like, I edited it out of here, but I did drive to the back. I tried lifting the back up. It wouldn't even remotely have it. I've fully retracted the crane in, all sorts. So, yeah. In the end, I went from the front again. That's what she said. And, yeah, I was just trying to lift it, retract the crane in, just trying to get it to the point where, obviously, because I'm flooring it as well, it's, oh, sorry, hoovering the winch in, it's flooring the wheels of the Steptoe. Apologies, there's a little tiny glitch there, but it is essentially, yeah, I got it up onto that second axle, and then I was able to scoot it over like that. And then fortunately this went pretty nicely actually for like my first attempt. I think this is oh no, this is the second vehicle I've ever put on a trailer. I did the 49X the other, I don't know, about a week ago now or something, and yeah, we actually got it up there. Again, that's what she said. Wanting to line it up a bit better, just in case. So yeah, these are my tools I'm taking. Well, you've always got to take a goddamn professional. Although I did have a plan for the goddamn professional. I'll say now, just in case, for what it's worth. Let's just say, make sure you put the right winch on the things that you're taking. So I may or may not have done the same thing. So I was able to pack them both, that's pretty cool, and we're off. Yeah, this, was it, Lonely Island, you've got to go and get a Don 71, it's like right at the top of the map, in the middle. There's like a serious super mud section. I don't really mind this though, because it's clearly like pretty much put there for the sakes of this mission, which is cool, it makes sense. It's not something that inconveniences you every 2 minutes when you're just trying to get across the map. Like, it is a purposely trollish section. Yeah, it tries to bait you into it. It makes you think it's going to be easy. Just rescue a little Don 71. What could possibly go wrong? Quite a lot of things. There's my trailer still stuck in the ditch. I could get it out, but I don't know. To be honest, I quite like the look of that cat packed on a trailer. So I've already bought, I don't know, I think I own about 5 of those Cat 770Gs now. It's because I can never be asked finding where I left the last one, so I'll just go and buy a new one. It's quicker. So yeah, I might leave that there on the trailer for a bit, unless eventually, I assume he'll probably harass me to finish the mission before I can move on. I think as well, by the way, the fact that I've got the Steptoe with the legs on the crane, like the big crane, I think that's catching on the tree a bit. But I was just doing my suspension now anyway, I forgot about that. Well, again, I've got about 3 or 4 different Kolobs, so on some of them I've already got the suspension raised, and it just seems to stay raised, which is good. And then, yeah, every now and then though, when I choose a different truck, it does catch me out every now and then. Well, that's one of the things that will catch me out coming up later with the Lo4f, is I didn't have the right winch on. I didn't have the winch that, when I planned to do what I'm about to do, yeah, I had having the advanced winch on in mind rather than the autonomous one. It's a little bit sluggish through here. I mean, obviously, yeah, I got the trailer. It'd be nice though if there was, well, I don't know how else to be honest, it'd just be better if they could put ramps on the trailer or something, even if they're just retractable ramps that just hoover themselves under the trailer afterwards, so they don't actually like sit at the back of your trailer like ramps. yeah, like this is, I was having a good old time doing this. This is part of the reason why I purposely made this mission like this way, because it was just an excuse. You'll see what I end up trying out, which there's no real need for it at all. It was just for my own, the idea popped in my head and then I had to attempt it. But yeah, it was just a good excuse to actually stick some trucks and stuff on a trailer and go cruising around with them. Looking pretty good. See that forklift on the trailer up there? What was I driving around? I think it was a P12. Testing it, like cutting across the water. Obviously brought a forklift with me because I have actually made it across the water with the forklift. I took a little bit of engine damage, but yeah, if you go nearer to the rocks where my fuel trailers were, it's a little bit shallower, so I did get across. But anyway, I brought that over with a P12, and then at some point I just disconnected the P12, recovered that because I wanted to use that for something else, and then yeah, I went to go and recover the forklift and realised I've left it packed on the trailer, and once it's packed you can't like recover it or anything. So, and yeah, I realised I'll have to basically drive back there, attach something to the trailer, then unpack the vehicle, then recover it, and then do it that way. So if I'm honest, I'll probably just leave it there for quite a while, because yeah, I've bought again another 2 or 3 of them forklifts. Not that I use them a hell of a lot, if I'm honest, but well, I've been messing around obviously testing them, but I'd say game wise there's not a hell of a lot of reason so far that I've found to use them. It's the same with that Cat 770G, like, they should add that trailer to the trailer store really, not that you can do a lot with it I suppose, but yeah, they sort of give it you in this game. I think you got to complete all the conveyor belt section missions and all sorts before you can unlock the last mission, where I think it says you've got to go and drop like 2 heavy rock trailers off. But yeah, I've not even started those like conveyor belt missions, which are quite a few people are telling me. I'll just mention it. I've not done it myself, but I've heard this off quite a few people that they're getting glitches happening when they're delivering like these missions that have got say 10 cabins or whatever you need to get there. It might be some of the other ones as well, so just bear this in mind. I believe when some people are dropping the cabins off, they're getting glitches happening on the game and it's freaking out. They're also not able to scroll through their menu or anything like that, so they can't change trucks. And what people have been saying that seems to solve it is, I believe, if you go back there and like remove the cabin out of the area where you drop it off, I assume it's like those cabin zones or whatever they're called. Yeah, I think you have to sort of lift it out of there and then it'll go back to normal and you'll be able to use your menu. And I also believe you can reuse those cabins. I'm sure someone said like if you just leave the little area that where you drop it off and then bring them back in, essentially it just counts as more, so you won't necessarily have to make 10 or 15 cabins or whatever they are. You might just be able to say take 2 there and do that. Yeah, personally I've not actually attempted the mission yet because people kept mentioning about these glitches and that, and to be honest, just with like, I've been messing around testing all sorts of things, but also in terms of making a video, I kind of don't want to get stuck spending hours and hours and hours on a mission that if it ends up bugging and I can't get past it, obviously I can't really make a video on that or anything. So I might just, it depends how far off the next update is, but I might, fingers crossed, wait for the next patch, and then yeah, they hopefully will fix that mission. They might fix the forks and everything on the forklift, like the controls, how it all operates. So I believe, I've not played Farm Sim, but apparently that's got like a telehandler thing on there, and I believe that works a hell of a lot better and smoother than in this game. And I think Focus own both companies. I think that's like under their umbrella, so to speak. So yeah, hopefully they can just kind of copy and paste it from there. I don't really see the issue. It's only how the controls work. It's not like they're pinching stuff from the game or whatever, really. Or even if they are, who gives a shit? You own both games. So we climbed our way up here. We got here eventually, and as you can see behind me is where the Don is. On like, it's in the middle of an island. Like there's a rock there, and yeah, there's just a massive ring of like mud all around it. For some bizarre reason, I decided that I wanted to turn up the longest trailer possible, stick a loaf on the back of the trailer. The Steptoe actually just brought as like plan B, which, funnily enough, was a bloody good job I did. So yeah, what I'm going to try and do is reverse this long ass trailer through all the trees and everything. It was around now, by the way. I was kind of thinking, god damn it, like these unkillable trees that I can't really remove or anything. Yeah, I was just kind of looking, planning my route. Definitely probably not what I'd recommend, but I couldn't resist. I had to give it a go. to be honest, what you'll see, it wasn't as bad as I thought, trying to get this trailer manoeuvred around. Like I say, I like reversing the semi-trailers, they're pretty normal and intuitive. Although I do think with this trailer, because it is so long, it doesn't matter how, like, when you go around a certain corner, it doesn't matter how wide or however you take the corner, this thing's going to cut the corner and hit stuff. It'd be pretty cool if it, yeah, gave you some kind of, like, steerable axles. So I don't even think it'd be that hard to implement, really. And again, if you just press, like, left or right on the D-pad as you're driving or something, just something pretty simple, so it, yeah, just manoeuvres them a bit, it'd be pretty cool. So I need to straighten up and get through here, but these trees will block me. Thankfully, Kolob is a bit of a beast, so we seem to slap them out of the way. And I was looking like that's not too bad actually. It got me lined up pretty nicely. It's times like this that I wish those trees would be fully see-through, but it is what it is. I kind of helped get myself into the situation. Again though, when you actually try and turn this bloody trailer around, that's one of the things with this trailer. I've delivered a few kind of various missions with it, and once you actually get to the mission, that's one thing, but then you suddenly think, oh yeah, I've got this gigantic trailer to somehow turn around and get back. I think I might have abandoned one or two in the countryside. These things do happen. So as you can see behind me, there is like, yeah, just a massive ring of mud that is like super mud, worse than what I'm reversing through right now. And then there's a little rock in the middle. The Don is actually just on the other side of the rock, but it's basically there in the middle. And as for suggestions of trucks to try for this, so I believe somebody said they got a Tatrin stuck, which I could imagine, to be honest, because as solid as the Tatrin is, it's not got the highest ground clearance, and as this mud is particularly deep, like as soon as it's going to rest like the underside of the Tatrin on the mud, then yeah, your wheels are just going to, like, not going to have any weight pressing down on them, and they're going to wheel spin quite a lot. So I mean, I don't know, maybe even the cat I was using yesterday, see, it's around now, I was like, oh my god, I've got the autonomous winch on it, which hasn't got very much reach at all. It's a shame, because I genuinely think the if I had the advanced scout winch or whatever it's called, I would have reached it, because even the Kolob at the minute was only slightly off being able to reach the Dom 71. Life knows what to do. He's going in. And yeah, so like I said, it was kind of fortunately I did actually bring a Steptoe, because it ended up needing to be plan B, and that was my plan B, was kind of like, I'll bring a Steptoe. That's why I loaded the Steptoe this way, because when I rotate the crane round, it's like, yeah, got a pretty good distance over out the back of the trailer, instead of like wasting half of its length reaching over the top of my cab. However, then now I kind of realise, like, yeah, it's I could do with sticking those crane legs out, but obviously I'm on top of the trailer. It would be nice, but it is what it is. If I could pack the Steptoe but still use the crane, but it's fair enough that it doesn't do that. To be honest, if you actually look at it, the Steptoe isn't really tipping off the trailer, it's just tipping the trailer itself because it's sinking into the mud. And it's yeah, it's fighting me Steptoe. Lo, don't give up, though. He knows his mission. I think that's a little glitch there, but it's pretty convenient. Yeah, fortunately this little Dom 71's pretty easy to tow and move around. So yeah, like I said, maybe the cat that I used yesterday would possibly be alright through here, or again, maybe the, what's it called, the Azov Antarctic, I can't remember what the numbers are, 4220 maybe. Yeah, maybe something like that, or I'd at least say big tide things. I believe somebody used a P12. That probably wouldn't be too bad, because I imagine already it'll be pretty slow going through there, but at this point that's not really the issue, because I think every single thing in the game is going to be, at best, slow, and I think most things will just get stuck. Wanting to line myself up a bit better, it was scooting me over to the left a little bit. Trailer is a long old beast though. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend like doing it this way. Obviously I could have just brought the Kolob on its own, possibly drove in far enough, if not brought something, but I kind of figured in the end, I mean, like I said, I kind of had this idea that I could reverse a long ass trailer in there and kind of skip over the mud that way. But yeah, I just thought in the end, for me personally, whatever I bring that would be able to drive across the mud, it would then just be the inevitability of bringing that and driving across the mud, if you know what I mean. I kind of, like, with what I've done here, purposely made it a little bit awkward, a little bit longer, a little bit more sort of fiddly and risky and whatever. Like, say, the Steptoe and all that could have fell off, and yeah, it wouldn't have really mattered. Right now, by the way, I've rotated my crane back round, and it's not letting me, like, as you can see, it's kind of knocking me against an invisible wall. You can obviously only do, like, one rotation with a crane, which it's just one of those game things again, like, really? It's not the end of the world. I just dropped the Don 71. Didn't bother me. To be honest, it's pretty funny, but with this mission, I would have happily, in the end, just gone and bought whoever needs this Don. Just go and buy him a new one from the garage and drop that off. Would have taken me about 5 minutes to complete the game, and that's it. But yeah, we got the Don on there. I just restored the crane so it was like back facing forwards. And then now, goddamn, when your Steptoe gets an erection, that is one thick meaty horse. Yeah, he's definitely a fat little horse. He's heavier than the Don 71, so I was kind of trying to keep the crane pretty highly elevated. I know you'd think that's like worse for tipping, but it kept the actual point I was winching from the crane like pretty central above the Steptoe rather than sticking out to the side too far. But yeah, it was tipping me pretty bad. I thought it was close to going off. Again, those crane legs would come in handy. I don't think they'll reach the floor though. So I don't think it'll make much difference. I thought I'm going for it. And I was now thinking like, well, should I drive forward and nudge the Don forward, or shall I just try and reach over the front of the Don? But then as I was trying to kind of scoot the loaf over just so it's parallel with the trailer, so it's not tipping either side, it sat pretty nicely on the roof. So I'll sandwich the crane down. Well, that'll do. We've got our horse. And we're good to go. Still lets me pack them both, which is pretty cool. Obviously it doesn't pack the loaf. I'll be honest, I chose a winch now. I don't even think I really needed it. I mean, that was partly why I drove here, was it earlier or yesterday? Pretty recently anyway, I can't remember when, but I drove here in the Kolob and drove up through this mud just out of curiosity. I wasn't really going for the Dan mission then, or the Don 71 mission I mean, but yeah, I was just having a general little scout around, and I was able to drive up like to this point, and then obviously when I started getting deeper in the mud it started bogging it down, and that's originally when I thought, well, if I brought a trailer and just reversed it up, I wonder if that would work. And yeah, like I say, I had to know. Gotta know these things. For a second there I thought, really? Am I caught on that? But it was my fault, I'd left the winch on. Like I say, I wasn't using the winch, I don't think, I just drove out of there. That's kind of why I forgot I even had it on. Oh no. Fortunately, the Kolob has definitely got a nice bit of power to it. I think, to be honest, it's the Steptoe, the crane legs on the Steptoe that are catching the tree more than the actual... The trailer is hitting the tree, but it's... To its credit, this trailer's not too bad at just scooting its way round when you catch it on something like a tree. It doesn't really morph into the trailer and start catching on everything. Yeah, you can see that it was like the crane leg, but then when I let off the accelerator, it kind of released the tension a bit and, yeah, jiggled backwards, and we got her out of there. And again, at this point, if I wanted to, I could possibly recommend it as well. Detach the trailer, I've got the Steptoe, I could crane the Don 71 up onto the back of the Kolob, winch it down onto the back of the Kolob so it wouldn't be going anywhere. It wouldn't really matter anyway, because you don't have to restore it, it doesn't have to have any health, so I could just winch it behind me and smash it along all the way to where I've got to drop it off. But even though the suspension's raised, it got caught on its nose here, and it actually got dug in pretty well. I couldn't go forward or backwards for a little while, so sent in the goddamn professional. This is why you get yourself a loaf, you see. Yep, I'm going for it. Just a goddamn professional. He ends up back on its wheels. That's why you get to keep having a good old time. So yeah, I was jiggling around for a little while. Eventually, I've managed to get off the rock because I think I was like the sort of skid plate or whatever of my Kolob was actually glitched into the rock because I couldn't do anything. Eventually, like I say, after a bit of jiggling that I edited out, it started moving backwards. Use the loaf though as a little mobile winch point to jump my way up there. Save me bacon again. I quite like this little section though, this little sort of rock road thing going around along the edge of the river is pretty cool. Yeah, because I'm not leaving him behind. He's a goddamn professional. You never know when you need a loaf. Yeah, the Kolob sounds pretty good on this game, pretty meaty. It's quite a nice engine sound to it. I just kind of left that bit with no voice there, so it left the volume nice and high. Again, a little professional, he's on the way. So yeah, now that square right next to me is that's like the garage or yard or whatever, where you find that trailer for the dump truck mission. So that's where I am now. I've just got to basically drive back along this river. I'm going to cut a little bit out. I'll show you a little bit further ahead, because this thing went pretty nicely through the pothole, like, well, I say pothole, you could probably just about fit a small house in it, but it's yeah, this actually makes it through there pretty well. But then I'll jump ahead a little bit, because it is essentially just driving this slow through the mud. There's nothing amazing going on. So the weight of the, well, like the strength of the trailer holding on to my saddle then was kind of almost made me jump over a lot of the pothole. But yeah, this thing, it's got decent enough nose ground clearance now that it actually made it through there. I got stuck there the other day, I can't remember what with. Well, I think a couple of things. I think the 49X got stuck there, but I can't remember the other thing. Something else did though. So yeah, this is where I'm just going to cut ahead a little bit. Probably only like a truck length or two. Well, if you had like the trailer included. There's that forklift with my trailer again, just to my right. So yeah, I'm only just a bit further down the river. And as you can see, I'm running pretty low on fuel. That's one of the reasons I brought the loaf with the roof rack. I'd much rather have the loaf without the roof rack if I was actually driving that thing around itself. But yeah, it's just a handy kit to bring with it. Again, this is another thing really. The Kolob could probably easily have a roof rack on its roof, like it's got room for it. Another thing I think would be pretty cool if there was some kind of cargo you could grab that acted as like repair point, if it was like a repair pallet. So you could just stick one pallet of repair points or whatever on this trailer and all sorted. That'd be pretty cool. Even those fuel barrels as well. If you could use them as actual fuel, it'd be pretty good. But yeah, fortunately, see again, that's why you get yourself a goddamn professional. About a week ago he planted them trailers there. He knew they'd come in handy one day, and they did. Like I say, at this point, this is just pure for the sakes of doing it. I could just disconnect the trailer, grab the Don 71 and be off, but that is not the point. Got to beat the game the way I imagined it. As for cutting across here, it was certainly struggling a lot more. I mean, on its own, the Kolob would drive through here pretty well. It's getting caught on the stones though, that's sort of what holds it back. And then as the trailer is just so long, as I've started cutting over to the left, which I can't really help because the current is fighting against me. It's you almost have to steer like out of the current like I am now, so and then it sort of lets you move along a bit. And yeah, you can see the middle of the trailer is getting caught on that rock. I think it let me fling out a winch, but it was only reaching that little tree towards my left. I could have done with that tree almost in the middle of the screen. That's what I was trying to look at it. I was trying to get there, but it was having none of it. Well, wedged him pretty good. That's what she said. We'll squeeze another one in for today. So I probably could have approached at a bit of a better angle. I just kind of, yeah, went for it. And this is the result. Although you'll see, it kind of messes me up. I actually did use the loaf. I moved the loaf around to the right hand side and was kind of winching the back of the trailer a little bit just to try and jiggle it off those rocks. I was able to get forward a little bit, but then, as you'll see coming up, the game started trying to troll me. So I'll do my best to try and fight my way out of there. I mean, low range, well, diffs are always on, but I mean the high-low, I'm trying to fling winches out, I'm steering left and right, keeping it pinned, fingers crossed. Again, I was trying to jump to that, like the tree that had sort of pulled me slightly over to the right rather than that thing. because that'll just pull me onto those rocks to my left, and then I know that the trailer, like the legs of the trailer and all that, will start getting caught. So it wasn't even worth it. Yeah, I was jiggling around, but just not quite. Something missing. So time to send in submarine Lo4f. The Lo4f crosses this river pretty well. I've been over here a couple of times. Definitely better without the roof rack. But as you can see, just about tall enough. Good old mushroom snorkel. Pokes his way out. But then look at the Steptoe in the background. I have no idea why. I was having a good time. I was enjoying my Lo4f. I was about to winch everything out of there. And then yeah, the Steptoe tipped. And it's not that it was particularly anything too awkward. I could have just grabbed something from the garage. It's only down the road. Drove here, lifted the Steptoe back on. It was just more principle that is like, why game? Why do you have to troll me? So I saved the footage quickly, restarted the game, and then it loaded back up just before the Steptoe fell off. So then I jumped in the Steptoe, drove it forward, nudged the Don 71 forward, and as you can see, I've packed them all a bit nearer to the Kolob. But that's about it. And then when I started driving again, give it a little jiggle around, and we started moving. I believe probably because I drove the Steptoe and the Don, or more the Steptoe really, more forward on the trailer. Like the weight wasn't sat completely over those rear axles. That I've got like little fuel tanks and stuff underneath the trailer that I believe was catching on the rocks. So yeah, probably moving my weight around a bit helped, and I got out of there. Looking around like, goodbye Lo4f. It's been emotional. He did his job though. He came with me, he rescued the Don 71. He helped me across the river. Goddamn horsewheel vehicle. It wasn't turning then. Not really a lot I could do. Well, I assume probably because my front wheels are floating in the air. And this tree, why? It didn't just bounce me off or brake, it glitches into my cab. Fortunately, I was actually able to reverse out, because I was thinking now, oh, please don't just catch me in there. If it had, I would have brought probably the twin steer, just took a fat run up, smashed into the front of the Kolob and the tree, probably took both of them out, and then carried on about my business. There's Bruce. Bruce has got some wood. Yeah, that's the biggest part of the mission over, but you see, something just wasn't quite right. Goddamn professional. Like, yes boys, we got a goddamn car to deliver. After you get back to the garage, that's like 95% of the mission done really. I'm going to fly down here, and yeah, one of the first sort of cabin things sat on the left. Drop it off there. Another gigantic pothole in the road. To be fair, this thing barely noticed it. And anyway, as you could see, with the goddamn horsewheel vehicle, he made his way across the river on his own. He doesn't need any help. And I admit, it is a little bit sketchy when you got the roof rack on, especially when you're going against the current. Obviously, it's a lot easier going with the current. But yeah, I mean, he made it across. Can't leave your thick, meaty horse behind. It was bad luck. And yeah, with the roof rack, it's definitely sketchier, but without it, it's I've been over there 5 or 10 times with a Lo4f. It can go in all the deep parts. It's definitely what she said. But its snorkel is tall enough. I wasn't taking any damage or anything, so pretty good times. I do realise at this point, with this sort of like the Don 71 is like the smallest vehicle in the game pretty much, and I've gone and brought one of the biggest vehicles, the biggest trailer, a craned truck, and of course goddamn professional. But we got the job done. That is the important thing. And yeah, you got to take it here. Like I say, it's at this point you kind of realise that, oh yeah, I've got a gigantic 8-slot trailer now. Fence? What fence? And that is it. Drop it off. 420 XP. Pretty good. Is it 3,000 something money? I'm not really bothered about the money, to be honest. It's yeah, got quite a bit of spare dough these days. Anyway, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Get yourself a Lo4f, of course.